I want to see some cats today. Walk around the compound. Oh, the Pete's and Squeaks especially. So let's walk around the compound.
You are a tiger. You're a tiger. You are a tiger and your name is Fred. You are a tiger. You are a tiger. You are a tiger and your name is Fred. Melita. Don't expect very much in the way of sensibility, because I'm loopy. I feel good. I feel fine. Not I was quote fine, unquote. I don't feel bad. I don't feel like, oh, danger or anxious or anything like that. I just, it's one of those kind of things where, when your car, it's like, it gives you the gas, like, doot, like, hey, you want to fill up soon? Like, maybe like when you still have like 60 miles left. You have 60 miles of gas left, or the car's like, hey, we can make it 60 miles, but I just want to let you know, you're gonna want to fill up at some point in the relatively near future. That's, I think, where I'm at right now, where it's like the little bloop gas, like, hey, just letting you know, not like an emergency, I actually I forgot to fill up one time. I did. I was driving back home. And I think it was because that's the other, whenever, like, I would drive home after working like all night. So when I was still working like shift work, either a swing shift or a mid shift. And I'm driving back home, probably, I think it was at the time when I was doing maybe like between 250 and 300 mile trek. So it was like a 4-hour drive. And yeah, the very, very helpful, you should probably like get some gas soon light came on, bloop. And I'm like, oh, I should get some gas. But I was also like, I had gotten done working a shift and then driving for it. So it's like I was in a very state of forgetfulness, prone to forget. And I'm just driving. And I forget that I'm just like, hey, I should also be scanning for a gas station. Just completely drifted away. Drifted from my to-do list. My pressing task. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just driving home. I'm just driving. We're doing it. And then I was going, and all of a sudden my car is just, and I'm like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And then I look down at the gas, and it's past E, like the gas gauge, and then the horrible realization of like, oh no, I remember the gas up light came on like half an hour ago. Oh no, why did you do this? You could have saved yourself. You could have fixed this. What were you thinking? And then I'm like, I wonder how far I can coast. And it sucked. Oh gosh, it sucked because I was close to home. I was actually by Decatur. Which is only 15 minutes away. You can, if I get up on top of some of the larger buildings over here, I can see Decatur from this facility. Yeah. That's where I was when I ran out of gas. Needlessly. It wasn't like it should have. This sneaky gas tank. But I guess I was just so tired. And it's weird. I was going through, it's funny, I was like going through a bunch of ADHD meme pages, ADHD subreddit meme pages. I was downloading a bunch of them. That just kind of resonated with me. And there was one, it wasn't even like a meme, but it was actually, because the comments are really great. And the meme pages, anyone that has ADHD, I would recommend going into the meme subreddits because they're actually very positive and like helpful support communities. The ADHD just serious subreddits are a lot more just like, oh, we suffer from this indelible curse fate has bestowed upon us, and we are incurable and terrible, and my life is a struggle of such epic proportions. Lo, weep for me, weep for me. That's what a lot of the other online communities are like. And but the ADHD meme pages are a bunch of people who like they're very aware of their circumstance. They're very aware of their circumstance. They're very aware of how their lives can be very affected by that condition. But they try to like approach it with a sense of earnestness and heart and levity and fun. And then they support each other in the comments. It's actually really, really nice. And like there's a lot of similarities where it's like, oh, you know what? Like people put a meme out there. I'm like, oh, I get that. But one of the comments I saw was about Munch. But one of the comments I saw was like, oh, like someone was asking about like, oh, what are some of the more interesting or things that you don't necessarily hear so much about? Like, oh yeah, a lot of people talk about like, oh, it's squirrel, but there's like, what are some of the lesser known kind of aspects of it? And someone talked about blind spots, and they talked about like sometimes within a to-do list or within a set list, within an executive function thing, sometimes even within your own vision, like it's almost like stinking magic. Like stuff gets like just erased from your field of vision, both literal and metaphorical fields of vision. Your to-do stuff, and it's stunning how you can have. And people are like, oh, I have that. You know, like, oh, everyone's kind of like experienced that. Like, hey, where are my keys? I'm like, oh my gosh, they're right in front of you. You talk to someone with ADHD, it's just like that is a horribly like regular occurrence. Like it's like, oh yeah, everyone's forgetful, and it's like, yeah, but like this is something that we have to kind of maybe deal with a little bit more frequently. And then you have to like develop like you have to develop your own kind of personalized set of like mitigation techniques to try to work around that sort of alignment, that thing that happens. And I'll be doggone it, having that gas light, the actual gas warning light show up, and then like completely forget. Do you know how often I have to like I have to check my door, especially at my apartment when I'm like going to work? How often I have to like go, either like I'm just about to leave the apartment parking lot, or I'm down the road a few blocks and I have to turn back around and then go back and then double check and make sure that I actually locked my apartment, because I forget. Like, did I actually do it? And then I panic, like, crap. So like I've developed like little things like, one of the things that I'll do, because I listen to a lot of radio, I listen to podcasts, I listen to spoken word things, or I listen to people talking on YouTube a lot, comedy type stuff, or just interesting conversation type stuff. And whatever the topic of conversation is on the last thing that I heard, like as I'm locking my door, I'll say like, oh, like monkeys butter toast, monkeys butter toast, monkeys butter toast, because they were talking about monkeys buttering toast. That was the last thing I remember hearing on that podcast. And as I'm shaking the door handle and locking the door and then pushing on the door, I'm like repeating that topic. So invariably, so this is whenever I'm like getting into my car and I'm driving to work, which is like in almost every single time I'm going, and then I have that moment of panic where I kind of look up, I'm like, did I lock the door? Because I legit forget. Because it becomes a blind spot that gets Etch-a-Sketch erased from your head. I'm telling you, like, it's not like, hey, just remember better. Like, just thank you so much for that very wonderful advice. Like, I don't think that people with regular brain, like they you don't get it. People with like regularly aligned and regularly chemicaled brains, oh boy. Yeah, people say like, just think normal, and I'm like, this is easier. Oh, it's, yeah. So when I have that moment of just kind of mini panic, like, like, did I forget to lock the door? Immediately I'm like, monkeys butter toast, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And then I keep driving. Yeah. It's, I have a ton of little tricks that I do just to navigate. Just so that I can haphazardly navigate. Not even like navigate particularly well, just so I can like stumble along without like fiery crash and burn. That's it. But yeah, the big thing with like ADHD people is like our brains are fundamentally like aligned very differently. Our neurochemistry is aligned very differently. That's why ADHD people can like take stimulants, and it doesn't like get them high in the same kind of way that it would a neurologically typical type individual. Someone with like a normal brain, they take an amphetamine and it gets them geeked out. Someone with ADHD takes an amphetamine and it actually like helps to regulate their dopamine system and allows them to actually people say, I mean, I guess it doesn't calm you as much as it actually regulates your dopamine system so that you're not constantly novelty seeking. Your TV channel isn't constantly flipping and going through the motions. So yeah. I didn't realize it was going to be a big PSA on that type of stuff, but it is. Because I know that I'm in a mode where I've been working for like multiple days. I've been working outside, and my sleep has been more limited, and it's okay. But like things like not like getting a lot of sleep, like transitioning to different kind of seasons, like the temperature's going up, so then I have to make sure that I'm remembering to drink water more. I'm losing more electrolytes, and a lot of these things definitely play a big role biochemically into the overall disposition and cognitive capacity of a person, particularly an ADHD person. Our chemicals are more sensitive, and therefore like our chemicals can get more influenced by a lot of this other stuff. So we have to be very cognizant of our chemicals. We really do. Bim bim. Bim bim. you know what? Just organize more. Get yourself a day planner. I don't understand what the big deal is. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Thanks for the tips. I don't know if this is, again, I got to take these things with a grain of salt because it's like based on conversation and comment threads that I see in like message boards and forums, like ADHD type things. But I remember like someone was having a conversation. Oh my gosh, Slade, you're so adorable. They're having a conversation about how, they read that ADHD people often, not everyone, because it's a complex constellation of parameters and makeups, but they're saying that there's like a lot of ADHD people who have like a more natural inclination to verbally repeat interesting sounds that are repeating in their heads or interesting sounds that they hear. And I'm just like, well, that explains a lot. How like I'll hear, or like whenever like words whenever words look weird or when they sound weird or something like that, and then you have to just keep on repeating them. Or like the phrasing or how things are kind of like phrased, if you're like certain lines in like shows or movies or something like that. Yeah, that it becomes this weird. There's like an auditory kind of tick, or an auditory ticking kind of thing that kind of happens. Monkeys buttered toast. Monkeys buttered toast. But yeah, as I was mentioned before, but then I just distracted, moved on to a different kind of thing. But I was saying about like some of the different message groups, how like the actual more serious message boards, again, they're like, you know, like, oh, woe is me, we suffer, and there's like, it's so debilitating, and there's nothing that can be done, and it can be kind of like victim-y and pity party kind of stuff. It really can, which it's like, ugh. But then the ADHD meme pages are full of like a lot of people who like, hey, like, you know, you can thrive, you can work, you can achieve things, you can accomplish things, but LOL, who else got bees in their head? Like, you got bees in your head? Yeah, me too. Yeah. We all got bees in our head. That's the meme pages. Yeah. We can get stuff done with bees in our head. Look at these ladies. They're pretty cool. Zizi, are you gonna come over here and say hi? That's cool. I'm happy. I am happy that you are going to do such things. Good girl. But yeah, there's a lot of fascinating stuff about it, and not everyone's, you know, who has the affliction, the brain orientation, is going to have it the same. There's a spectrum of kind of symptoms and factors that kind of come into it, and each individual person, like your symptoms are not going to be manifest like in the same way at all times of every day. It fluctuates. Again, there's a lot of biochemical stuff at play, and a lot of biochemistry elements that contribute to overall symptomology, which then is completely predicated by your environment and by your habits, by your nutrition and by your sleep. It's yeah, and it's a constellation of factors. So anyone that either has it or anyone that suspects that they have it, there's so much that you can learn about it, and there's so much I recommend that you try to learn about it, because trying to mitigate and manage it without knowing what it is or how to do certain things is going to be a struggle bus, an uphill struggle bus. So doesn't have to be like that. Don't gotta be like that. You can work with the bees in your head. Don't try to work against the bees in your head, because guess what? Them bees ain't going nowhere. It's not a thing you just cure. Go get a planner and set some alarms and just be a little bit more focused. I'm like, thanks, Doc. ADHD cured. No, this stuff, it's with you. It's a lifelong thing. It is with you for forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. So yeah, learn to work with the bees. Don't work against them. Because, yeah, you don't want the bees to get, don't get the bees angry. Got angry bees buzzing in your head. Alright. I don't know if I did the thing. I can't remember if I did. The hello, all you big cat lovers out there. This is me, Derek. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Podcast. I don't know if I did that. So, thank you for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbus Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep them tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy. And thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Monkey's buttered toast. Munchie saw a ghost. Mika weighs the most.